Hello and welcome to Living in Reno. It's Dave and Sarah.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good. We are here with all the resources about living in Reno. And if you're thinking about moving and you have kids, that's what today is all about.
Absolutely. We've got two little ones, 4 and 6.
Yeah, that's a lot. But we're going to tell you all about the schools, the activities, all that stuff. That is next. Welcome back to Living in Reno. Today, all about the schools, the activities, and the fun that kids can have in the Reno area. One thing I should mention right off the top when people are researching about possibly moving to Reno is the schools. A lot of people will, move to a major city and they'll be like, oh, I got to research the school districts. You don't really hear. Here you have to research the schools because we're all in the Washoe County School District. There is no other district. There's no,
Right.
If you go to Sparks, it's the Washoe County School District. If you go to Washoe Valley, it's the Washoe County School District. If you go to Carson City, that's a little different, but Washoe County School District covers most of the area that you would potentially live.
Right. And just so you know, while you're researching, a great resource is the Washoe County School Board YouTubes all of their board meetings. So you can take a look at what's being discussed. I watch their board meetings live. I know Dave's shaking his head, but I really pay attention to what's happening in the Washoe County School District. And the board, they do a great job of making themselves accessible. They do a ton of public outreach, and you can watch archived school board meetings as well if that is something that you're interested and very curious about. We have a ton of public schools. Our kids attend, well, our 4-year-old doesn't attend public school yet, but our son attends the public school that's less than a mile away from our home. And really and truly, we have found that our schools are phenomenal for our children's needs.
Yeah, so when you're thinking about the school aspect of, your kid's life, it's important to look up those school grades, and you can kind of do that by region and see how one school fares versus another. There are certainly better and worse schools when it comes to, getting an education. So that's something important to consider. By the way, one note, if you do ask a realtor, like if you call me and say, hey, what's a good school, Dave? I'm not even allowed to talk about it, literally. I can tell you, go on the web and I can send you some links of here's some resources to look up some information about the school district and even the district itself. I can send you that information, but I can't tell you that, oh, that school out south is great. They have an A+ rating, blah, blah, blah. I cannot even sort of do that.
And that's a actual legal and ethical thing that you are held to as a realtor.
Correct. Yep. It is. So that's something that to keep in mind. If you call a realtor and they're a little bit weird about that, that's why we're not allowed to, because it can be considered steering if, you have a family of a certain race and we tell them something, it can be taken the wrong way. It's just, so we're not allowed to even get into that. We can certainly tell you, similar to crime, I'm not allowed to talk about crime rates and all that. I can point you in the direction of things, but I can't get into the specifics because, again, getting away from steering and fair housing issues, all that stuff. So if you want to look up the grades of homes, just go search the Washoe County School District and you can see the school grades on various sites. And if you need that resource, certainly reach out to me. I can help you there. But, once you get past the public schools, there are a lot of private options to actually take a look at here.
Private and charter. We do have a lot of charter schools that are a part of the school district, but they are charter schools. So that's something to look at as well. We have, as you mentioned, private. We have parochial private schools. We have one parochial private school in high school that has athletics. Otherwise, so you want to take a look at that.
And we even talked about homeschooling, but that was about a 45-second conversation. We decided, no, not for us.
Not the patience.
No. Get on out. So that's kind of schools. Now, when it comes to activities, there's a lot of stuff, and the immediate thing that comes to my mind, obviously, parks and all that stuff. We have a
Mm-hmm.
water park that's
Mm-hmm.
great out in Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
Wild Island is the name of it. It's right off I-80. Um, but what comes to mind immediately is the balloon races.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
So September is a month of events. I was going to say events season. So we have events all through town, but I have to tell you, you can find free things to do with your kids all the time.
And you're like the queen of the free events.
Yes, it's so easy to find.
Because then now I start thinking of our calendar, and I'm like, oh yeah, free fishing day.
Mm-hmm.
That's one. Yeah.
Yes. So the first Saturday of June, it's actually the Nevada Department of Wildlife, I believe, has a free fishing day where nobody needs a permit in order to fish. Well, the local Rotary has really taken that on, and at the Sparks Marina, they do an entire event. The kids go out there, they get a free fishing pole. So both of our kids now have their own fishing poles.
And by the way, this is not like a kid fishing pole that's like 2 feet long. It's like
a
the real deal. Yeah.
real fishing pole.
It's the real thing.
They will use it the rest of their lives. So anyway, that's one free event. You mentioned the hot air balloon races, the Great Reno balloon races. Yep. That is one weekend in September, and
you gotta be you have to be willing to wake up really early for that one.
But what's beautiful about it is even if you don't wake up early to watch all the balloons take off, when you do wake up, you look up in the sky and you see all these hot air balloons. And if you're lucky, depending on where you live, a hot air balloon might even land in your neighborhood street.
No thanks on that. But it is funny because Reno is kind of in a bowl.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much see a balloon
anywhere you
go, anywhere you live. So it's pretty cool to see that. And there's a lot of them. I mean, there's sometimes 40, 50 in the air. It's crazy to see that.
I need to fact check this. But I think that this is the second largest hot air balloon event in the country.
Screw it, we're going to go with it.
Okay.
We're not doing news anymore. We'll just say it.
There you go.
I think it's the biggest in the world.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was going to say, what about New Mexico?
I know nothing about New Mexico. I was just kidding. But yeah, it's huge. It's a ton of them, and it's a great time again every September. So you can check that out. What other kid activities?
Well, true story. This is a discussion that I just had this morning. I was chatting with a man who moved here from the Tri-Cities in Washington, and he said, oh my goodness, there is so much to do here in Reno, so much more than where I moved from, and people don't realize how much there is to do.
And that's with kids, by the way.
Yes, with kids. We take our kids, we live near a hiking trail. We take our kids on a hike and you can see the city skyline. That's something that's just in your backyard.
Yeah, and you could do a quick day trip to Tahoe, which is a short drive, probably 30 minutes from our house to get to North Lake. Right. To South Lake, it's about an hour 15. But so it's just, there's a long list of things that kids can do, and you're the queen of finding. Oh, what was the ladybug thing?
Oh, so we have a local nursery, Moana Nursery, and they have several locations. But they have this darling event called the Ladybug Release. And we took our kids and they give each kid a little plastic ramekin and they explain how beneficial ladybugs are for flora and fauna in the region. And they have the kids release the ladybugs. And I have to tell you, there were at least 100 people at our local the one that's just down the street here.
The only negative is you traumatized our daughter for the rest of her life.
No, now she says her favorite bugs are ladybugs.
Yeah, can you tell that story quickly? Having it land. So our daughter is what?
She turns 4 in a couple days.
Yeah, she's basically 4. She is freaked out about any bug. I mean, it could be a housefly, and she'll freak out. So this one takes her to the ladybug thing.
Thinking it would help.
Lady, and then the second part of that word is bug. But then, so the ladybugs are released, and one goes directly, was it on her nose? And she's bloody murder, screaming.
No, she screamed so that no sound was coming out.
Yeah.
But now she loves ladybugs.
Mm-hmm.
CPS is going to knock on our door.
Yeah. I think they're here. No. Any other events come to mind that? I got a dog coming at me. Any other events that are coming to mind for kids?
Gosh, there are so many. And then there are local stores that I take the kids to in the winter time, such as Shields and Cabela's, because they have such cool, like they have the fish aquariums. And so the kids just sit there and look at the fish. And then obviously the taxidermy stuff at both locations. So the kids are really into looking at that. I do have to say, oh, speaking of kids.
There's one of them. Okay.
There's one of our bozos. Yeah. Hey, Zach, come here.
Zach,
what's one of the favorite things that mommy has taken you to here in town?
Huh? When?
Oh, okay. Win breakfast.
Oh,
that's a networking thing.
Group.
That's another video. But no, I took him to the Arboretum, and that's another event.
Oh.
So I took him to the Arboretum just to walk through at Rancho San Rafael Park. Took him through the Arboretum, and they were setting up Dragon Lights. And Dragon Lights is a summer event that is super cool. And the thing is that our kids are too young to stay up late enough for it to be dark enough in the summer to get the full vibe of Dragon Lights. So I just walked him through the Arboretum during the day.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought of two. Dragon Lights was one of them. And then we have the Arizona Diamondbacks minor league team, the Reno Aces, and we've gone to many games with the kids.
Right.
Yeah, so that's another activity that they can enjoy. I think that's it. That's the main ones that can happen. We also have tons of parades and events. Garlic Fest. They can't go to the wine walk, but any of those, they're not going to go to Santa Call. But like, there's so many events like that. The Italian Fest that they can go to. Aloha Fest. So many. Art Town.
Oh, Art Town, the entire month of July. Google Art Town, just so you know, but the entire month of July is dedicated to the arts in Reno, and there are free events every day. I think there are 500 events in total for Art Town. Also with Art Town, they have summer camps, again, because it's in the month of July. So getting your kids involved in the arts, just a phenomenal nonprofit event in town.
Riverfest, Candy Dance, all kinds of things. So if you need any more resources, certainly reach out. The contact information is below.
Yep.
And we always say this, make sure you like and subscribe. Everybody says that on their video, but please do. That